Hi, I'm Andrew Watson from Creative Guitar Studio, and today on the Guitar Blog we're going to go through some questions that have been coming into the studio, and we're going to start off with a question from Trevor in Toronto, Ontario. Trevor wrote in, he said, "Hi Andrew, I'm looking for some affordable vocal amplification. I have no idea what to look for. I've heard that plugging a microphone into a keyboard or bass amp is an affordable alternative to a PA system. Is this true? What would you recommend with a budget of $500 to $600? Also, if possible, something that could compete with my 60-watt Fender Hotrod Deville tube amp in terms of volume." Well, first of all, yes, you can certainly. I would probably recommend a keyboard amp if you're going to be wanting to plug into something and just do it real, really basic. But still, a good keyboard amp, was pushing some good wattage. It would probably cost you close to $400. So, as an alternative, I suggest looking into a product by Nady. It's called the PA210. It's a real basic PA. I think it's maybe about $300 or so, but it's pushing over 100 watts, and it's really actually a PA. It's got two speakers with horns and 10-inch drivers in them, and it comes with a mixing console that's, like I was saying, I think it pushes 130 or 150 watts or something. It's got lots of power. From what I've seen, they're really loud. Also, you are in Canada, so you could check out the Long Wave stores. They carry the Yorkville products, and maybe you can see if you can, get something by the Yorkville brand that would be an equivalent. But definitely check into that Nady. It's called the PA210. I've used it a few times. It's really nice, really good piece of equipment there. Let's go over to another email here. This one is from Curtis. And he didn't say where he's from. He says here, "Hi Andrew, I'd like to ask you, once you've learned all the chords and scales and so forth, how does a guitar player go from knowing just that to playing all styles of music? How do you do this? Please let me know." So, to be versatile, because that's really your question is, how do you become extremely versatile? It's a number of things. Number one, you want to listen to whatever styles that you're going to start getting into, and get a familiarity with all the people that are sort of the top-notch people in that style. So there's that end of it, and that goes hand in hand with research. You want to research the style a lot. Try to dig into it, and get a lot of the different popular and not so popular CDs that are out there for those different styles. And learn some of the songs, and obviously, spend quite a bit of time practicing because sometimes you'll run into scales that will be kind of particular to certain styles of music, so you want to be practicing certain kinds of scales. If you're getting heavy into jazz, well, you're going to have to practice a lot of arpeggios and know your modes real well. So there's a lot of research and practice involved. And then, the fourth thing I can think of that would be the hardest thing to maybe really do effectively, but it would be the best thing, would be to get into a band and play that particular style for a little while at least live. That was one of the really incredible things about going to a place like GIT is you sort of, through a week you could pick certain things like, I'd pick, I want to be, doing some top 40 stuff. So you go to the top 40 clinics that were happening, that week at Musicians Institute. So, that was huge for helping me with my versatility. But, those four things basically. So, a lot of listening, a lot of good research, a lot of practice of what you need to practice for that particular style, and if you can, get into a band. Playing it live on stage is the real key factor there if you can do it. I'll go to the next question here. This one it looks interesting. It's about bore oil. It's a question. It says here, "I watched your video about restringing, and you mentioned not to use lemon oil. Just wanted to know why you said that, and also why woodwind bore oil is better. Thanks," from JC in Georgetown, South Carolina. I don't know if I said in that video not to use lemon oil. I don't recommend it. Number one, I don't like really the smell of it. I don't like my guitar smelling like anything really. But number two, I don't tell people about it because, it's a mineral oil. It doesn't penetrate incredibly deep, and at the same time, the other side of it is I'm worried that somebody might think I'm talking about some type of lemon citrus-based cleaner, which is, those are horrible. They would be horrible to put on an exposed wood neck of a guitar or something. I mean, those are they contain, I think, like alkalis and stuff. They would be. I don't want anybody to, when I'm recommending something, to take it, and listen to half of what I said and then go buy the wrong product and then just start applying that. So let's go over the world of bore oil now. The reason I recommend woodwind bore oil there's no chance that somebody's going to mistakenly buy some type of citrus-based cleaner that would wreck their guitar possibly or something like that. And it's really designed for musical instruments. It's got that proper blend of those exotic oils as well as water. So it has incredibly deep penetration into the wood. It's very good stuff. Okay, I got time for one more. Just checking the clock here. Got time for one more. This one is, let's see here, from Tom in Santa Fe, Texas. He's writing in here. He says, since I was 14, I've wanted to become a guitarist. I am 18 now, and I've watched as my cousin who went to university for music and graduated back in the summer of this year cannot make an actual living as a musician. He works a day job. He's an amazing singer, but yet he works at a coffee shop to pay his rent. You do not seem to have a day job, and I wanted to know if you have any advice. You know, when I first started doing any kind of YouTube video stuff, that was this is the number one type of question I was getting repeatedly is, you know, how do you make a living doing it and all that stuff. I hate hearing, you know, that somebody went to university and everything and they're working at a coffee shop or something, and that's, I just, that kind of stuff, I hear that stuff and I think, boy, that's, you know, it's not great. But it is difficult to make a living in this, and I've been really lucky. But at the same time, you know, when I first started out, I knew that, you know, I wanted to have a lot of teaching going on in what I was doing, and I wanted to be playing. But, you know, I started looking at everything as a business. You know, back when I was going to GIT, I remember a teacher there saying, you know, 5% comes down to how good of a player you are. I mean, you've got to be really good. But making a musical career, it's only 5% of the equation. 95% of it is business skills and understand, and it's not just music business skills, it's just overall business skills. Like, you know, establish some kind of a company, be able to have, you know, business bank account, you know, keep incredibly impeccable records, you know, be able to accept, you know, as a merchant, you know, different kinds of credit cards, and you know, have everything well designed in some type of a database, or, you know, a system that you can, you know, use for tracking gigs that you take on and so forth, where you're the band leader of the gig or whatever, or maybe it's something solo that you're doing. You know, let's say if you were a singer, like he's saying his cousin is a singer, you know, establish a company, you know, whatever, you know, put a name to it. And then establish a bank account, establish a business telephone line, establish a merchant account through your bank so you can accept Visa, MasterCard, and American Express and all the different credit cards. And, you know, this is the thing. It's a business, and you've got to be able to establish that. Otherwise, I mean, as you go on in life, you know, being a musician is easy if you're like 22, 23 years old and you live at home with your parents or something. Whatever you know, maybe you have a car expense and you have, you know, a bit of money you pay for rent or whatever to your parents. I mean, that's not really what it's like as you go on in life. I mean, you know, like as you grow older and you establish yourself more in life, you need more money. You know, like for instance, okay, I'm 40 years old. I'm married. I have 2 kids, and you know, money it just you know, it seems to fly out just as fast almost as you can make it. And so what I made when I was, let's say, 25 years old, where I was just starting out and I had, you know, bought a small house and I was on my own, I was a bachelor or whatever. And, I mean, that's way different of what kind of money I needed back then as compared to what I need now that I'm 40 years old and I'm married and I have 2 kids. So as life goes on, you got to remember, you know, you need to become more and more razor sharp with your business and to be able to earn more and more money so you can support yourself in life. You know, you got a bigger home because you got a family, and you got to pay a bigger mortgage, and you got more bills, and you got clothes and food you got to buy for, you know, your family and everything. It's just, you know, there's a lot on that business end. And looking back now, you know, years ago, because I went to GIT back in 1991, and remembering what that teacher has said, how 95% of this is business skills to be able to make a living doing this for your life, and 5% of it is playing. It's so true. That is one of the most true statements I've ever heard. But if you want more information, I did a series of music business videos. They're all on YouTube. And some of it you have to just basically jump over to my andrewwasson.com website to watch the remaining part of the video. So check that out. Anyway, I should you know, wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you next time.